via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
And we are here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jania Butler with the New American Perspective. I am here with my co-host, A.B. Butler, for the G-Check today, and we got a lot of G-Checking to do this week. First, let me ask my co-host. He's out the house. He's back on the scene, ladies and gentlemen. I have seen him. How you feeling? How you doing today, cousin?
Look, cuz, I'm really not back, but I had to come out and show the studio the legend is coming back.
Ooh, is that what it is?
That's what it is.
The legend is back. So let's just go into that a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the legendary A.B. Butler, Mount Vernon, New York. We know that P. Diddy's on trial. Mount Vernon is on trial a little bit. But break away from that a little bit and tell us a little bit about yourself, because we never really gave you the proper introduction.
Well, listen, I go by the name of A.B. Butler. I'm from Mount Vernon, born in the Bronx, but raised in Mount Vernon. So a little about myself, I'm international, worldwide. You could turn on any TV and you're going to say, here go that guy right there. You never know where I'm at. So today, I'm here with my lovely cousin, Jania Butler.
And we're going to do some G-checking today, right? We're going to do some G-checking. You know how we do in the New American Perspective. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're joining us today. Where are you joining us from? From around the world. We're live on YouTube. I didn't know that, people. Tap in, subscribe. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We live on the Sky Network. We live on Amazon. We live everywhere. We talking about we popping in here today. And this is the news that you can use from the New American Perspective. Okay, so let's get right into it. Misa Hilton,
Mount Vernon,
walking through, showing up to the courthouse, Puff Daddy trial, on a walker.
Misa, what happened?
Now, what we know about this, okay, is we know that Misa is suing Mary J. Blige for a situation with Vado, right? Mary wouldn't let Vado sign, this, that, and the third. We don't know.
But Mary good people.
Mary's good people. Now look. I want to show you the G-check. Mary had to do a G-check herself. Mary heard what we was doing, and she G-checked herself. Mary showed up to the Knicks game the other night.
Ooh, G-check.
Misa's on a walker.
G-check.
Ooh, walking into the courthouse.
Ooh.
So now, was this good or bad? Is this sympathy that they're playing on the Combs family? What we seen the other day is we seen the Combs family, everybody come in for day 2 of the trial. All the kids was there, the girls, they was looking good, Justin and King, and everybody is there in support of Puffy. They said Puffy was a little cleaned up and together, and they heard some disturbing news. So if Misa coming in on a walker, is that helping, hurting, or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts is, that's Misa. So it don't have, she came on a walker or she came on a crutch. It ain't got nothing to do with Puff, because they don't care nothing about Misa. It's all about Puff.
Well, if you seen, the paparazzi was all around her, your boy, what's his name? Luch out there with the free puff shot. Shout out to Luch with the free puff, making sure nobody touched her. He outside, he doing his thing, but then, so Misa, okay, so we're saying Misa on the walker, everybody, we all alarmed. Misa, what's going on? She on the walker.
But what is she on the walker for what?
That's what we got to find out. Yeah, this is what we need to know.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a phone call and reach out to Misa to see what's going on.
Hopefully she's okay, and hopefully she just had a little minor procedure that had her
fell off the motorcycle.
A motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
What motorcycle?
I'm gonna leave it like that.
Oh, the motorcycle. Okay, so let's talk about, since we're talking about this, since America is talking about this, let's talk about what's going on with Puff Daddy at the trial. Cassie started her testimony, and it's a little rough. Everybody, it's a little rough. Cassie came in with the bubble belly. She's pregnant. She came in. Now, let me ask you that. Is that?
Let me G-check.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Do that.
They know the trial was coming, so the boyfriend probably played this to make it look good on her behalf. Trying to say, oh yeah, she did all this. Now she with me. She having babies, back and forth. But at the end of the day, me personally, I'm gonna say this to America. I really think she enjoyed everything she did in her life.
Oh, I gotta come back for the ladies. Now look, have you heard some of the stuff that is being said in this trial? He is talking about Cassie. He was making Cassie, making the escorts. I don't know who was doing what, but peeing, urinating in her mouth during sexual activities. They're saying that blood and urine is all over the wall. Don't tell me that a young girl, 18 years, his junior, okay, meaning that he's impressionable, meaning that he's teaching her. That's why men like to, Shannon Sharp, like to go get the young girl because they're going to do young girl things.
Can we blame everything on what they call that YouTube? What is that other one? What's the other app where all the young girls, where your parents can't see what you're doing? What is that?
The privacy settings? What do you mean?
Yeah. I forgot the name of it, but it'll come to me.
What are you saying? Can you blame what on what?
What I'm saying is, we say young girls. Young girls do more dangerous things than older
Right.
girls.
That's why an older guy wants a younger girl. And they're impressionable. So now P. Diddy, he's coming off and he is the big guy, I can give you a record deal. She said she signed a 10-album record deal with P. Diddy. The Puffy that then put everybody on and put everybody out. I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that for you. But first, I need this guy to urinate in your mouth. So to show me how much you love me. So now, yes, she had a choice, ladies. You have a choice.
Yes, you do.
She had a choice. You have a choice, ladies. But
she had the choice. The choice was some tea water.
But he's saying, if you really love me, you're going to do this. He's gripping her up by the neck, kicking her down the hallway, and then now you're going to blame her.
Listen, I'm not blaming her. That's what she did. You know what I mean? But I want to know personally, everybody know all this will happen, right? Mm-hmm. Who's the fly on the wall was really in that room?
This is who?
Her and Puff, as they say. Who else was the fly on the wall?
The people, the escorts that are testifying now of what was going on. Now, some of the escorts have said, listen, Cassie was the one who asked me to do it. They're trying to paint her out as a willing participant. But I'm fighting back against that because all of you older men, date a woman that's closer to your age, that been around long enough to know that y'all ain't serious and to know that y'all just are super freaks that want to do something with somebody that'll try stuff and don't know that this is not normal. Let's start there. Okay?
Can we start somewhere else too? Listen, parents, the parents out there.
Okay.
If you putting your kids in the entertainment world where y'all know the Sharks, the Lions, the crocodiles is out there, have that conversation with your kids where they don't line themselves up in them situations. Because at the end of the day, if Cassidy was 18 years old, cute girl, whatever, her mother, her father should have had that conversation with her where this is
But
what's
Mom,
going on.
Dad, it's Puffy. It's Puffy and he loves me and he's doing all this. Now, you're not going to tell your mom and dad that he's got you in the back room, tied up, telling you to call the people on the phone and doing all this other stuff. And most young women are impressionable. That's why these men date the younger woman. It's not so much that the older women is washed up. The older women, we not going for that. Okay? That's what that is.
That's why we need to communicate with our parents. Me, I talk
Okay.
to my mother about everything.
Okay, and that's good. Shout out to Mommy Butler outside, and shout out to how she raised her kids, being open. But let's not forget what's happening out here to our young girls. And now we're blaming her. Now we're saying, oh no, she wanted all of that. She wanted that. You want her. The man will say to you, you want this, right? Now, if you playing along, right? If you playing along, you might say yes. If you're playing along, but that doesn't mean that you like it. In the back of your mind, you're like, this is so disgusting and he is so nasty, but I love him and I love this life and I love the diamonds and I love the lights. I love the camera and I love the action, but not being dragged down the hallway. You gonna say she like that?
If they wouldn't have never had that footage, what would they be saying about this man right now?
Well, they got the footage.
Yeah,
that's his fault.
But I'm saying, if they didn't have this,
they would probably still be loving him.
Okay.
Let's be clear.
Okay. I ain't got nothing else to say. That's a G check.
Okay, it's a G check. And so we're gonna continue on with the Puffy trial and see where we go with this.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I'm gonna stick and say that Cassie does not want Cassie does not want there's a G check. Cassie does not want what we talk about here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a break and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the next topic that we G checking today. So right now, let's just put one G check for him. He's checking Cassie's G. I'm checking Puffy's G here right now. You know what I'm saying? That's 1 and 1. And I'm saying you went after the young girl because you knew that she could do this stuff. You knew that she would do this stuff. You're not going after an older woman. That's why Kim was on her thing. So when we come back here on Millennium News 24, we're going to talk about Trump and his jet out of Qatar and all of the stuff going on the rest of America. So we'll be right back here on New American News. Be with you in a minute. Let's go on. And we are back here on New American News 24. Yes, I'm your host, Jania Butler, and this is AB Butler, my co-host of the G Check, and we are G checking some things. So, Trump's America, we're on Trump's America. What's up with Trump's America? What is we doing here? What is we doing? What is we doing? So, Trump, he was in Qatar.
Yes.
And they're giving him a giant jet plane, right?
Right.
And everybody is saying, no, Trump, don't take the plane. It raises ethical concerns. But what Trump said from the beginning is, I'm going to bring the world together. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's a G check because Trump said, I'm going to bring the world together and I'm going to make it go. I'm going to make it do what it do, baby. Shout out to John blasting game. Okay, so now should Trump accept the plane?
Listen, a G-check, somebody gonna give him a plane and give him that kind of money to put the gas in it to fly. Why not? Because guess what? Somebody give me a plane, I'm not turning it down. You know what I mean? So Trump is on his money game. At the end of the day, whenever his term ends, he's definitely looking at, everybody know they're gonna come after him. Everybody know once he get out of office, they're gonna come after him.
Okay, but let's rewind. I don't know if you remember, there was a time when Minister Farrakhan, Gaddafi, was going to give Minister Farrakhan a bag of money.
Yeah, but you got to remember, once again, America is light skin and it's brown skin. So you got to look at it. Farrakhan is who he is, a powerful man. But at the end of the day, Trump is running the White House right now.
I understand, but that's where the ethical concern come in, because you're not supposed to be able to accept foreign gifts.
But it's two different rules for everybody. You get where I'm coming from? They got rules for us, and they got their rules. Their rules is they do what they want to do, when they want to do it, at any time. They want us to follow the rules.
Okay, next up, Trump is allowing the South Africans to come into America, the South African farmers that Elon Musk was talking about. He's allowing them to come into America and take over some of the farmland that black farmers once had. Now, Trump, this is a G-check. Slow your roll. Now, if the Mexicans and everybody else can't come to America, you can't be flying South Africans as white South Africans because you mad at the South Africans because they won't let you get a spot in their land, okay? Don't be getting mad and then now bringing these people over here and say, look, you can have some of this land. No. America first, my G. Okay, that's first with you, okay? Because think about this. Now, I know that he owes Elon a lot. Elon lost a lot of money helping him get into the presidency. So how do you feel, cuz, about him now saying, okay, Elon, I owe you something. You want the South Africans over here. You didn't pillage everybody's money, and now you're going to let these South Africans come over here because Elon is a South African, if you didn't know. Okay.
Do you have a green card?
You know he got his green card. He probably paid for it. Now, there's programs in the United States, EB-5, different types of programs where you can pay for your green card. Trump's got the gold card right now. So there's different programs where you could pay for that stuff. But now I'm asking you, how do you feel about him flying the South Africans over, taking the land from the black farmers, and then throwing it to them?
Well, listen. Real G-check is I don't feel it's right, but at the end of the day, this man is just doing what he want to do, and at the end of the day, he put himself in a position to be able to do all of this. You know what I mean? When Obama was in office, he should have been putting himself in a position, even though they kept knocking him down, as they say. But at the end of the day, is not right. But we sitting back as America, looking at this and letting it happen. You get where I'm coming from? Mm-hmm. So a real G-check is they doing what they doing, but we as a brown and a black community, we still complaining and hating on each other and not building one another. So you sit back and say, listen, he got in office. He looking out for the people that looked out for him. Okay, that's a G check. I ain't gonna say nothing. That's a G check. And
So he is doing what he wants to do, but you're gonna have to do what we need you to do too, President Trump.
Exactly.
I ain't messing with your G, but stop trying to pillage the black farmers because the black people didn't enough black people. Okay, let me say this. Enough black people got behind you that you became the president. So you gotta respect that G too, my G.
Exactly. And matter of fact, let's say this. Where he didn't, all the people was behind him, especially my man from South Carolina. Shout out to you, homie. And you never seen any black people in the cabinets, in the White House that had this man back. Where they at?
Right. And we got to get it. I should have a position in the office. Now we've got
G-check Trump.
This is a dream. We got Scott Turner. We got a couple people that's in place. So now, what we're going to talk about really quick as we're talking about some Trump news is let me see, what are we going to go to? The Knicks. So we're still talking about, Trump, New York. He loves New York. So the Knicks somehow, ladies and gentlemen, are up 3-1 to the championship Boston Celtics. And one of their main players has hit the deck, Jason Tatum. So the Knicks is up. Everybody is balling out. I told you Mary J. Blige was at the game.
It's only right.
Kendall Jenner, I think Kylie was at the game with her girl Jordan Woods that's dating Carl Anthony Towns. So it's happening. It's going down. Shout out to New York. Shout out to all the religious New York Knicks fans out here. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I respect the game. No, I respect the game because I was here. The reason why I'm not a Knicks fan is because I'm a Philly fan. If we going into that, I'm a South Jersey Philly fan. You know what I'm saying? You see my Eagles wings if I turn around, but the Knicks have some diehard fans in the city.
Yes, we do.
100%. These are crazy people.
Ride or
die. I don't know what they told y'all when y'all was growing up, but y'all are ridiculous. Okay? But the Knicks are up and the Knicks is winning. Now, I think that the NBA, and I want to put this out here, because I think this NBA and all this betting, I don't understand how the game could be a real game. I look at it as just Globetrotter basketball, that they are setting up how they want it to go. Now, in this instance, the Knicks is up 3-1. That means that Boston has got to win the next 3 games in order for them, the championship team in the NBA, not to get eliminated. Okay?
Boston, they're going home tonight.
Oh, they're not going home tonight because it's a money game. Okay. It's a money game. Now let's look at this. We've got all of these stands, right? You got the stands, you got people in all the shirts. It's a money game. You got your point spreads. And so now Jason Tatum is out. He's messing up the point spreads and everything. Now, can Boston beat the Knicks without Jason Tatum? Oh, we don't know. We'll see this evening. Okay, I think it's a home game for the Knicks. And so now the New York Knicks have the highest tickets. The tickets are going for the playoffs, $900 to $50,000.
New York City.
Right. Don't you? Right. And so they want to keep the arena open for a longer period of time. New York is going to spend money. So you're going to make it. So they're in Boston tonight? No, it's 2 games in New York, right? 2 games in New York.
Anyway, y'all go.
No, they won. Yeah, no, they're back in Boston.
Yeah.
Okay. So now Boston is not going to lose there because what is it? 5. They come back
there the first time.
Last 3 games are in Boston?
No. They lost the first game in Boston.
Right. 2 games. They lost the first 2 games in Boston. Mm-hmm. Then they won 1 in New York. New York won the next one. So we're at 4 games, right? So the 5th, 6 and a 7. So the Boston, I think they do one more in New York and then back in Boston. So it's a money game, folks. So I believe that the NBA is rigged and riddled with these people betting and all of this. If I can make this money, if I know that, if I make 15 points tonight, I'm gonna get an extra 100 million in a night. I can make. You're not doing that. We got all this integrity. All these players got all this integrity. This is a G check.
Boston, you going home tonight, man. Shout out to my people in Boston. No disrespect, but y'all going home tonight. It's gonna end it. The money thing, nah. They're gonna sit down and get ready for the next team.
This is the delusion that we go through in New York. They tell me, oh yeah, we're gonna win a championship. I don't know. But shout out to the Knicks because they're up 3-1. I'm not no hater. So let's talk about the fact that we're still in New York. A federal judge seized control of Rikers Island. So now Rikers was supposed to be closed. They put this whole program together to begin to close Rikers Island because Rikers Island is falling apart and they have done no type of renovations. I actually went over there. It was atrocious. I used to work there back in 2001 and they had asbestos in there back then. Yeah. They were closing down jails. Now it looks like it looks crazy. So that means that inmates that are going there are getting sick, are being exposed to cancer-driven particles and all this stuff. So they said, well, this is supposed to close down. But it hasn't. Nothing has happened. So a federal judge took over. It's about 7,000 inmates on the island. Federal judge, it's a detention center. So some people there nobody has been convicted of a crime unless they're about to go upstate, but it's a detention center to where people are fighting their cases on the island. But now they're being subjected to all of this particles and things that may kill me, give me cancer, stuff that I shouldn't be exposed to as an American citizen. My rights are being violated. This is unconstitutional. What's the G check?
The G check is just not in Rikers Island. It's in a lot of prisons. You know what I mean? Right now, as you say, the New York Knicks is rigged and this and that. The prison system is the same exact thing, love. You know what I mean? You got a lot of prisons that they got around the world that been there for years. Got asbestos, the great one, Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Okay.
You understand? It was a military base. There's a lot of things that the outsiders don't know, that this is what goes on in the prison. They don't care. At the end of the day, as you said, the New York Knicks, prison, it's a money thing. It's a count. It's a body. You get where I'm coming from? So it's just not about Rikers Island. It's a lot of federal prisons. It's a lot of state prisons have the same issues. They don't care about the bodies. As you see, the young dude in Tory Lane, they don't care nothing about no inmates. You know what I mean? It's a number thing. He got stabbed so many times. That's what goes on.
Okay.
You get where I'm coming from? Because they'll flood the prison with more inmates than they got staff.
So you know that you're saying that the prison system is not right across the American board, and it's just not Rikers Island. So if we're looking at Rikers Island, we need to look at the whole thing. But who wants to renovate the prisons? So we're going to come back. We're going to come back here on Millennium News 24, and we're going to talk about what happened to the rapper Tory Lanez that's been locked up because of the situation that he has shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot, had got 10 years, and now he got stabbed 14 times. So we'll be right back on the Millennium News 24. When we come back, we're going to talk about this. We're going to G-check this, and we're going to talk about these prisons and what is happening. We'll be right back here on Millennium News 24.
Hello viewers, you are watching Millennium News 24. America and global villages seen to America independence built by immigrants, manufacturers, roads, highways, educations, healthcare, IT, scientists, space, business development to all thousands of multimedia and all major social media platforms and news network in America. Millennium News 24, one of truthfully news networks in America and global news organizations. Please watch, follow and subscribe. We are in iOS and Android devices, Roku, Amazon, Apple devices, all smart TV, globally Horizon satellite, social media Millennium News 24, Millennium TV 24. Website www.millenniumnews24.com and www.millenniumtv24.com. Thank you.
And we are back here on Millennium News 24. I'm your host, Jania Butler, with the New American Perspective. And this is my co-host, AB Butler, with the G-Check. And we're out here G-checking all kinds of stuff, all kinds of information. My cousin said, listen, Puff my homie, I don't like to talk about him. And I get it, and I understand, Wow. And hopefully we won't have to talk about it but for so long.
Why I say that? 1995, he did me a great favor.
What was that?
I had the biggest show in the Fed system.
Okay.
I brought Biggie, Craig Mack, and Puff to the jail to do a show for me. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't get into, the backstabbing with somebody down because I was down.
That's why I feel bad for him. I think about
I was in that
Puff.
Situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when I say I was in that situation, I wasn't in what he was into. But at the end of the day, you hate to see a man down. And when you down, people just come and walk over you. You know what I mean? As they call themselves your friend. Now,
okay, we know that, again, we're back on Puff because this is big news. But we know that he's, been behind a lot of stuff, and he didn't treat everybody with the love and the respect that we want to give him right now. I mean, I love him because he has been a part of our lives since 89, 90, like he's been a part of our lives and he's been part of the soundtrack to our life and leading us. But we do not want to go down this route with you, Puff. This is horrible. I don't know where you got these little crazy, things that you're doing. I don't know. Okay, that's not all of us. But, shout out to Puffy. Good luck to you, my brother. I hate to see them take a black man down, but black men, we got to make sure that they don't have the ammunition to do that. So let's talk something good. Shedeur Sanders, who was drafted in the 5th round of the NFL draft a couple weeks ago. 5th round. He was supposed to go first. We was thinking maybe top 3. Travis Hunter went number 2. His little wide receiver that he was throwing to. He went number 2. Shedeur Sanders, son of Deion Sanders, goes 5th round. Now he's at the Browns, and he's the backup quarterback. They got like 3 or 4 quarterbacks there. Now he's competing. He's doing pretty good.
I heard you're a rapper because you said he went 5th round.
It's my freestyle. Yeah. You see my freestyle. You see how we freestyling. I be doing my little freestyle in and out. Yeah. Oh, I'm getting signed. Let me know.
Yeah.
Okay, back in the game. I'm back in the game. So now, how do you feel about Shedeur? Now, hold on. Let me just give you a little background. Deshaun Watson, who is the starting quarterback, was supposed to be the starting quarterback. In week 7 last year, he went out with a ruptured Achilles heel tendon, okay? And so he's on the sideline. He didn't have his surgery. He's trying to get back. He put out a video the other day. Now, we see Shedeur doing his thing. Bam, bam, bam. They show some video of Shedeur, making his moves looking good. Now Deshaun Watson is saying, hold up, my man. Let me tell you what he said. This is his Instagram or TikTok or somebody, X or somebody. This is what he posted. Be yourself and make sure you love being yourself. Now he's going through it. Everybody's saying he's going through it. There will be obstacles. There will be trials. But always remember, this is a life experience. Embrace the experience, appreciate the experience, and learn to let go of what doesn't save you, and find your path. So this was kind of I might be losing my position text.
Yeah. Well,
how you feel about that? Shador stepping up.
A G check on that is nothing but, sometimes we read things on social media, we overlook it. You know what I mean? Sometimes in a message, it might be little.
You all light. You all nice to the guy. That guy was saying he's losing his job.
No, what I'm saying is it's no different than you having a bad female and you bring around some dudes and the dude is sitting there having conversation with your girl, but if you're not handling your business, you might lose that.
Okay. I mean, I don't know.
He's handling his business. So, hey, listen, just fall back and watch the show.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah. Well,
that was what he was saying. He was nice. He was trying to be nice to Deshaun Watson. See you later, Deshaun. We want to see Shador do his thing, his rookie season at the Browns. Good job, young man. That's all I'm saying. Good job, young man. Okay, so Tory Lanez. I know everybody's waiting to hear what was going on with Tory Lanez. So we had looked into what happened to Tory Lanez. So you said Tory Lanez was where? Where is he housed?
He's in Bakersfield, LA. That's like 3 hours from LA. It's a hick town. They always, one thing about prisons, they always build them out in a hick town. You know what I mean? Only place might be like an MDC Brooklyn is in the city. Like Atlanta got a penitentiary in Atlanta, but most of these prisons on the outside of the country part of LA.
Well, that's because two things. They want, if the inmates escape, they want to be able to catch them. Right? You start running, you ain't got nowhere to go. We know the landscape. And then for these small towns, it's revenue.
No, I know that. But I know that.
Right? And so that we just telling the world what's happening, because we talked about, how these prisons across the board need to be reformed. I think Jay-Z with his reform did something for some people down south that were under some crazy conditions. But how about let's stop going to jail? Let's stop giving them a reason to lock us up, gentlemen.
Now watch this. Donald Trump, you getting all that money from these different worlds, champ. This is a G check. You say stop all the brothers from going to jail. Give these young brothers some work. You know what I mean? If you give them an opportunity, have a choice. You know what I mean? A choice is, you ain't got to always send them to prison. You could send them back to school. You could send them to a military situation. It ain't always got to be jail, because you spending so much money on prisons and put people in prisons, and then you take away from them. And every time a dude go to jail, get caught up, everything they own, they take away. So it's like basically a double jeopardy, because everything you take from a man he made, if it was right or wrong, he got to come back out here, because you're giving these dudes 20, 30, 40 years. He ain't got no people. So only thing they know is what they left. And then they don't have nothing when they get back out here. And then, the felonies, you can't get a good job. You can't get living. So most of these dudes, the only thing they know is the streets. So that would help. The money that you spend on all these prisons around the world, put it back. We ain't saying that, we could split the money equal, where we already know y'all greedy. So just make it enough where people can live, where they don't have to, because most of the time, if you do a survey on prison and ask them why did they do it, to support their family.
And that's a G check. But we also know that at one time in America, I ain't gonna say they doing it now, but at one time in America, it was set up. I always go back and I always look at the fact of when the Panthers and Martin Luther King started volunteering to go to jail. That's when, they started putting us in jail and realizing that was going to disenfranchise us. So I don't think that really worked best in our favor. But now we're asking for the shot. We're asking for a chance to raise our children, raise our babies, and make sure that our babies have an opportunity in America, just like everybody else, right? To have a piece of this American dream. We're saying America first. You're kicking everybody else out. And what I'm nervous about is, okay, so once you get all the Mexicans and the migrants up out of here, the illegal immigrants out of here, who you going to go to next? It's going to be us. And so we've got to be ready and prepared in a different way than we are now.
We are ready. Shout out to Atlanta, where I was watching on YouTube, Instagram. They sent some Ku Klux Klan in, and it's like, you got to remember, it's a different world now. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, listen, if you're listening, it's a lot of young dudes, older dudes out here. It's not going to play them games that they grandmother. They, It's going to be a war. You know what I mean? And that's what they trying to go, because we really need to get off the color. We all humans. If you treat us with respect, you will get respect. That's all we asking. We just asking to eat and live just like y'all.
Ooh, and that's a G check. I'm gonna go with that. But then let's just say there was a green card holder that got 2 months. He was coming back into the United States with his family. He had a formal criminal record. They held him for 2 months, and he said, I thought we were safe. So nobody is safe. And this is what I'm saying. Nobody is safe. A green card holder came back into America. Now it's legal because he had a possession charge, right? So it's legal for them to hold him, for a little while, check him out, see what they could come up with and everything like that. But you're getting a little out of control because the people who are following, if they're following along, ICE shouldn't be running up on everybody, even the green card holders, where they was trying to make sure that it was real. What was they doing?
Hey, this is a big G check. Donald Trump, you got 34 felonies. And ICE, you shouldn't even be coming at nobody right now, man. The president in the White House got 34 felonies. Slow it down. Slow the ICE down, man. Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to slow it down on the ice. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back in our last 15 minutes, and we're going to keep talking about what's happening here in America. Where are you tuning in from? We're live on YouTube. We live on Facebook. We live across the board. We live on Roku. We live everywhere. Tap in, subscribe, News Channel 24, subscribe on YouTube. News Channel M24, standing for that millennium and standing for that new American. Shout us out. Let us know where you're tapping in from and give us some feedback. We want to hear from you.
And we'll come anywhere y'all at and G-check something.
Exactly. And then that's the next thing. We're going to be out on the streets, G-checking what is going on with you. We're going to be checking your G. So you make sure that you tune in here on Millennium News 24, and we'll be right back. And we are back here on the New American Perspective. I'm your host, Jania Butler, and that's my co-host, A.B. Butler, the legendary, back in the game, A.B. Butler. Yes, he is live on his set. Yes, he is healing very well. Had the second brain tumor and recovered. Thank the Lord for that. There is a God and we know it, and he's sitting over here in the flesh. And so we just talked about Shador Sanders. We talked about Misa Hilton going into Puff's trial. We talked about the New York Knicks up 3-1. We talked about the green card holder, getting 2 months, he got a green card. So we talking about it here on Millennium. We talked about the Rikers Island and federal judge season piece of that. So that where they going to put these 7,000. If you're going to let them go, I would get involved a little bit more. But hey, let's stop going to jail. We talked about Tory Lanez getting stabbed up 14 times. Wow. 7 a.m. Who stabbed him up? I thought it was interesting that Megan Thee Stallion, she had got kicked out of the Met Gala last week. She was taking video and they said that she might be banned over there. But she's coming out, she's popping back out. And then Tory Lanez gets stabbed up 14 times when he now is beating his appeal. So they was trying to kill him, because I have wrote down how many times they stabbed him, because they stabbed him all over the place. He was stabbed 14 times, 7 wounds to the back. So boom, 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 boom. 4 to the torso, 2 to the back of the head, and 1 to the face.
Yeah, that's really real G-check. You know what I mean? That what goes on in the prison. You know what I mean? It's like somebody lined him up. Somebody was trying to extort him. But I'm going to say this. A man, if they put you in a prison, nothing should happen to no inmate, convict, whatever. This is what we pay our taxes, and we put people in jail. So the way they go in jail, that's the way they should come home. Now he coming home scarred up, stabbed up. You know what I mean? If you've never been through that situation, it's a sad situation. And then on top of that, how you explain to your kids? You know what I mean? Listen, we got to open our eyes, people. We got to stop hating on one another. And it's sad. It's sad. It is sad.
And again, we talked about what's happening in these prisons and why we need not to be the cartel that's going to jail. Okay, I want to change that whole mentality. I don't want to clean up the jails. I want us out of the jails. Yeah. So those of you that are doing your time, shout out to you. Get home and get right. Give us a call over here on the G-Check, New American Perspective. Let us know what you need and let us help you on a new pathway of American citizenship. Yeah. Okay, so we talked about Puffy. We talked about all the weirdo stuff that's going on.
But you forgot about Al B. Shore.
But we forgot about your man, Al B. Shore, who was on TV the other day, another Mount Vernon. These are all, they all came up together. They was little toddlers and stuff. So Al B. Shore, and I don't know, surprising G-Check news, he pops out and he says, Puffy was the cause of my organ failure and my coma a couple years ago. And I'm glad, you feeling some type of way, I'm glad that he's going through everything he's going through. And I'm willing to testify Kim Porter's death wasn't an accident. He just popped out. What say you?
A big G-check, man. Listen. Me personally, I know Al B. Shore. Al B. Shore very well. Shout out to Eddie F. for finding him. Shout out to myself for finding him. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, shout out to Rachel. You know what I mean? Al drank a lot. You get where I'm coming from? Because at the end of the day, the man, one day I came somewhere with him, and the man was drinking. You know what I mean? Because if Puff would have poisoned him, they would have found poison inside of this man.
Well, they got these little, and see what I'm looking at is, if you remember, right before Al had went on, went through this, that he went down. He was with Kim. He was with his son, and then all of a sudden he went down. So they was on the stage. Quincy is Albie Shore's son by way of Kim Porter. Puff Daddy adopted him long ago. Okay. And Puffy raised him. So Albie Shore's got some feelings. You done took my son. You done did all this stuff with my kids.
And he had an opportunity to do that for his kid too. You know what I mean?
I don't know. He was with the mom. I don't know. And again, you're going to go, this is where Puffy's influence reigns. And this is what I'm talking about. His influence reigns over all these people.
Well, I know Puff for a long time. You know what I mean? His influence is never over me. You know what I mean? And I said that to a guy when he used to work with my cousin that violated. You get where I'm coming from? But it's just that you got to have your own mind. You get where I'm coming from? You can't let nobody control your mind. I've been around a lot of powerful people, inside, outside. And none of them can influence me to do anything I don't want to do. I don't care who it is.
Okay. I mean, that's a G check. I mean, okay, nobody's influencing him. But he's got that Butler blood. So it's a little different. This is what I keep trying to tell him. It's not easy for everybody just because it's easy for you. Let's look at Benzino. Benzino's crashing out right now. You know Benzino, his daughter is Coyle Ray, and she's about to have a baby if she didn't have it already. But he called out 50 Cent the other day because 50 Cent called him a snitch. So Benzino, he's all buffed up. You see him now. He used to own the Source magazine with Dave Mays. He had great fame. I've been to the Source mansion out in Miami, and they had their, the whole moment. Yeah, they had their big moment. And Benzino, I respect him because Benzino don't fall down for nobody. Now, he been crying a little bit. He been acting up a little bit. But I respect Benzino. But a few years ago, when Benzino's mom had passed away, his nephew, his sister's son, shot him at the funeral. Now, what 50 Cent is saying that he snitched because his name is all on the paperwork. He's saying, well, I didn't snitch because when the doctors came into my hospital room, they was asking me stuff. My nephew snitched, and I just told them what it had. But then when I got to the courtroom, I said, I don't know nothing. I didn't see nothing. There's nothing there. So Benzino says, let's fight 50. But 50 got too much money and too much stuff to do to be fighting the Benzino right now. Okay. So what's the G check here? What are we talking about?
The G check is real talk. This social media, this talk where everybody know everybody business. How can you be getting money, being here, being there, and everybody know everybody business, talking about everybody's an agent? You get where I'm coming from? And I know it's public information. What I'm saying is the snitch thing, the way people play this game, the snitch game, they pick and say who's hot, who they want to be cool with. Mm-hmm. You get where I'm coming from? So it's like, if we on this podcast talking about, oh, this person did this, it's no different. You telling to the feds right now, the feds is on every platform, sitting back, doing their homework, and they getting paid big money for y'all to do their job. Stop doing their job. Stop worrying about who's hot, who's not, because at the end of the day, they got to live with that and deal with that. So going on social media saying who's hot and who's not, what is it about?
But Benzino wants to get in the ring with 50 Cent.
But if that's what he wants, they need that. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, 50 could fight. So there's nothing wrong with a celebrity boxing or get in a real match or whatever. Let them go at it.
If I'm 50 right now, I'm not boxing nobody. I'm not trying to talk. 50. Don't be trying to
listen. If I'm nice with my hands, somebody they said they want to box, come on, let's box. I'm gonna embarrass you.
I'm like, listen, I don't have time. I don't have time to be fighting you, Benzino, when you just need a couple of dollars. Okay, so rest in peace goes out to LPG Qua out of Philadelphia. I want to spend our last couple minutes talking about this and just getting really serious here on the G-Check. This is a G-Check Philadelphia. Philadelphia, you got to get a hold of yourself. Now, LPG Qua was the voice of the youth. He stood up for Philadelphia. He was from North Philly, which is one of the hardest parts of Philly. And he was from North Philly, and he was out here representing for the young people. And he got killed on Mother's Day for the chains around his neck. Now, Philly, we know, is the Badlands in Philly. We know all about, you guys are tough in Philly, okay? But you got to respect the game, okay? You don't kill the young boy. You don't kill anybody. Let's start there. But you don't kill the young boy that was repping for the full streets of Philadelphia because you wanted a couple dollars. We cannot do this. And I hope that we use this LPG Qua murder, death as a way to lift up Philly. We got to get to these young boys because check this and talk about how we get to these young bulls the right way.
See, this is a real G-check, for the young ones. The young ones, they follow us. The young ones, they need love. They need people to talk to them because you got to remember, back to you, Trump, and your team in Congress, senators, the ones we put in office. Y'all get in office and say what y'all gonna do once y'all get in there, but y'all change, y'all get amnesia, y'all get that money in your pocket, then y'all forget about the people. But at the end of the day, the young ones, they need love. They need people to communicate. As back in my days, as we call the older people, that it was respect. If we could respect them, we could talk to them, we could deal with them. But these days, it's no respect in no young, old, middle, or whatever. It's like it's social media just ran with it. So they just do what they want, and everybody want that attention. Everybody want to be that famous person. But when they go to jail, then all of them start being Michael Jackson. They want to sing and tell everything else what's going on in the world.
So, Philadelphia, you heard it here. We have to get our situation together. We cannot allow this to be how we look to the rest of the world. We're here on the New American Perspective. Thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next week here on the New American Perspective with our guy, A.B. Butler. Thank you so much. And this is a G-Check, and we'll see you next week.
Salute.